I don't have much to add. I just was calling in to try to get in on the fun here.
Well, were you calling in with a specific question or what?
Yes, my question to you, since being in Atlanta, and I hope it probably was asked to you before, but how has your dating been since being in Atlanta? Has it been better than the experiences in Philadelphia? What's different with the women, Atlanta women, Georgia women versus Philadelphia, Pennsylvania women?
Uh,
How's it going?
how's it going? That's hilarious. I mean, I would say that it's going better here, but I think part of that is just because like in Philly, I really didn't date much at all. I think since I've gotten here, it's been like a more concerted effort to like like we were saying on the last episode, trying to like really intentionally trying to be more social, trying to what I'm saying, like meet people and whether it turned into like something romantic or physical or sexual or just friendship, networking, just whatever it might be, nigga, like just go outside a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So just from me making like that small change, I'd have to say, I mean, Atlanta has been better because I've given it more of a fighting chance. The women that I have come across, they've been what's actually ironic is I don't know if I've actually met too many people who are literally from Atlanta though.
Mm,
um,
I have thoughts.
Freck is over here. Freck is over here rolling her eyes. She's over here rolling her eyes and shit.
Because, okay, I'm just going to chime in really quickly and then I'll let you get back to your answer.
Okay.
The reason I'm rolling my eyes is because you're doing the same thing that we were talking about in the last topic. You didn't not date in Philly just because you didn't want to date. You didn't date in Philly because you had, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I've been wrong a time or two in my life, right? So I could be wrong.
Just the time or two.
You didn't date in Philly because of the experiences that you had when you were trying to date in Philly. You didn't go to Philly and the day you landed there, you were like, I'm not dating in this piece of shithole. Right?
Right.
You're still very, 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 very new in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. You didn't decide I'm gonna go to Atlanta and give it a more of a chance than I gave in Philly. You've come to Atlanta fresh, brand new. You've had a different set of experiences here. Mm-hmm. You didn't just stop dating, and it wasn't what you said was it's different because I just didn't date in Philly at all.
Well, what I meant was like within like the past several years. When I first got there, yeah, I was.
And you stopped dating for a reason.
Yeah.
You didn't just stop dating because out of nowhere.
Well, yeah.
But they wasn't smiling at him.
But that's. I go back to experiences shape our perspective. Right? You came to Atlanta probably with the same openness that you probably went to Philly with, which is I'm open to, you know what I'm saying, some shit come my way, I'm gonna bite, cool, we'll have fun, whatever the fuck. That's the same thing you have going on here. Bitches haven't treated you the way they may have in Philly. We speak down here, even in the nice, nasty way, right? Because motherfucker will speak to you and there are some undertones of attitude, but they gonna speak. They might not like your ass, but they're gonna speak. In Philly, your experiences were different. Bitches were mean. They didn't look your way. You hold the door for them. They don't say thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the experiences that you had, which I go back to. Everything is based on fucking experiences. I'm nigga 10 toes the fuck down on this shit. I'm not letting up.
Oh Lord. But yeah, nah, it's been good, man. It's been good so far. How about I say that? It's been good so far. I was in Philly for 16 years, and I've only been in Atlanta for about 3 months. So let's take that for what it is. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot more time for it to go very, very south.
You've had more dates in Atlanta in the past 6 months than you had in Philly in the 16.
No, not 16 years. I remember them niggas was like putting me up for auctions and all kind of pimping me out and shit. I went on dates in Philly
Slavery.
like in the first the front nine it was the back nine that I ain't do shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, fuck this shit. You feel me? But no, it's been cool so far, man. It's been really good so far.
Wonderful. That's great to hear. Good to hear your voice. You guys have a great pod. I'll watch later.
All right, I appreciate you calling in. We'll talk to you. All right. And that was our good friend Nick from Erotic Boudoir, ladies and gents. All right, so I had a couple of questions prepared here. We got off.
Shit, this is gonna be a whole episode.
We got off. I know, right? We got off the rails with that BB Dove shit. Always is a passionate conversation. I tell you,
It's not the BB Dove shit for me. It's really the thought process or the lack of thought process that really grinds my gears.
I mean, I get you. I get it.
I can't stand people that want to be dumb. You just making the decision not to think.
Here you go.
You just wanna not use your brain.
All right, so I wrote this last time. I wanna. Ooh, no. Let me get to this one because I think this is a really good one. What?
You got really excited.
Because I just all right. So I'm gonna give you two, and then you pick. I think you're gonna pick the one I want you to pick. But so the first one is women demanding romance. Does it really work? Is that really what you want? Does it even fucking count if you had to instruct a man to do it? And I got that from having several conversations about like women almost like suggesting that, you know, you should take me here or you should buy me flowers and you should do this. And I like when a guy does this. And is it really romantic if you really gave me the blueprint? Because to me, I think romance is like when you're getting things that you really don't expect, but they turn out to be really, really nice. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. Mm-hmm. The second one, out of the four that I have,
this is the one you want.
It is, but you know, still.
Go ahead.
Survivor's remorse, in terms of liking someone new and having to cut the mental ties of someone old. Meaning, like.
Is that a question or just a topic?
Topic, really. Like.
The feelings around it. How do you do it?
Yeah.
Is it hard? Is it easy?
Yeah, like, and not necessarily when relationships are involved. Like, you know, like so use me as an example where it's a guy moving from one city to another city. Maybe I didn't have relationships in the past city, but I did cultivate relationships, if that makes sense, right? And you have people that you have feelings for, you have people that you care about, you have people that you have a rapport for. Damn, now we got fucking J Love calling in. These niggas.
Just wait. Finish the question.
Okay. Hold on, let me tell it. Hold on. 1 second. So you have people. Okay, you've cultivated relationships. You care about them. That's what I was saying. You have a rapport with them. You have history with them. Even though it didn't cultivate into something like official or whatever. And then you kind of uproot your life. You move to a different place. You're trying to create a solid foundation somewhere else. And then you start meeting new people. Mm-hmm. And it's like that normal transition of kind of like not forgetting about the old people, but almost having to, like I said, just kind of cut mental ties because you can't, it's almost like you can't do new stuff and succeed at new things or new people if you still are kind of like holding on to old things and old people.
Relationship?
Or is it specifically around romantic relationships?
I mean, when I wrote it, it was more geared towards like the romantic style. Mm-hmm. But I guess it could be any kind of relationship, really.
Okay, here's my opinion. We could do both. The first one could be very quickly. I could very quickly answer the question around demanding romance and is it the same if you have to demand or whatever. I could very quickly give a thought around that.
All right.
I do like the second topic that you just brought up that you're obviously excited about. But then you have J Love on the phone. By the time she asks her question, we are not certain how far that's going to take us.
I know, right? So
we
let
need
me
to make a
introduce.
decision.
Let me introduce. Okay, so we just got another call. J Love, are you there?
She's not on speaker.
And to ask my question to the Not Jacked Production podcast.
You're such a yo, nigga. If you don't just be yourself, nigga, stop performing for the camera.
That can't see you.
I would love to submit a question, but I don't want to interrupt the
No.
current.
Okay, so no. Go ahead and submit your question, and then once you say it, we'll get to it once we finish these other two.
Okay, my question for tonight, and I would like to also say hello to your co-host, Timber, aka Frank.
Hey, Bookie.
My question for you both are, what is the most outrageous thing you have seen on a dating profile?
Okay. All right. That's a good question. We're going to get right to that. We could get to that after you, because that's like a quick one, I think, too. Maybe.
I need to sit with it. I see a lot of outrageous shit.
Yeah, you do. You do. You definitely do.
Yeah, I do.
You do. All right. Well, thank you, J Love. We appreciate you for chiming in here. And
Well, thank you for having me. What have I won?
A callback, bitch.
yeah.
A goddamn FaceTime, nigga.
I ain't get no prize.
Fresh out.
Oh shit! I think it's something. I'll get back to you later.
Okay.
All right, nigga. Appreciate you. It's hilarious. Fucking idiots, man.
All right. So, romance.
Yes.
I'm wondering if your presentation of the question put emphasis on something incorrectly.
Okay.
I'm wondering if your question put too much emphasis on demanding.
Okay.
Because demanding something versus asking for something and then offering examples of the something, those are two different things. So when I think of wanting romance from somebody, and then wanting romance from someone who has not given me romance, and asking things like, I would like you to take me out. I would like flowers. I think that if the person just says, here's some flowers, right? Is that going to feel good? No. But if the person takes that and says, she wants flowers, let me think about how I'm going to give her those flowers. She asked for the flowers and I want to give them to her. Mm-hmm. And then they put some thought behind the flowers. Maybe they go to an actual florist and they have the florist put together an arrangement. And then maybe there's a small card attached to it that says, I know you said you wanted flowers. I decided to piece something together for you myself.
Okay.
That lands very different than the here damn flowers.
It's just in the realm of someone that you are already.
It doesn't matter who it is. Because I don't believe that women want I say I want this thing, you give me this thing begrudgingly. I believe that for majority of women, when we say things like, I want romance and I want it in this way, it is simply because you do have to teach people how to treat you. Mm-hmm. So it is simply offering a guide of the things that they want. Because here's the thing. If you're getting to know somebody or whatever, how do you know what they want if they don't tell you? Whether it be verbal or you've just really paid attention to the things that they do for themselves and you decide to pick that up. Mm-hmm. You won't know unless somebody shows you or tells you what it is they want. Mm-hmm. So if you're dating a woman and she's like, I want you to take me out, I don't think that is a demand and sorry, let me take that back, because for some women it could be, or it could come off that way, right? But I'm wondering if it's an opportunity for the man, if he likes the woman and if he feels like going this deep with her, to say, she wants me to take her out. But then it's up to you to then do with that as you feel comfortable. It doesn't just have to be to an expensive restaurant. Maybe it's, I don't know, a walk in the park, and then y'all go to a food truck park, and like that's the out, right? It's not the thing itself, it's what you do with the thing that they say. I think that's where this idea of romance falls flat for a lot of men, because they're like, here she is asking for something.
I think personally, I just think it's some bullshit, because I think when you demand certain things from other people, it's usually based off of a past experience, where you didn't get it from somebody that you actually wanted. So now you kind of like projecting it on somebody that you probably really don't want as much. So to compensate for like maybe what you don't really fuck with them, they can maybe like do this thing, and that's like the supplementary thing that kind of makes them like tolerable.
And I think you're projecting, because I've never thought about that before.
That don't make me projecting because you never thought about it.
The reason I said that is because I think that, has somebody done that to you?
I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's
is that the feeling that you've gotten from somebody for? That's like what I mean by projecting.
But it's not just from, but that's like a thing though. Like even in general cases of where, you know how people kind of, you know, now in like the TikTok age, whatever, people will get online and just kind of like proclaim without anyone asking what it is that they deserve from a person who don't even exist in their life yet.
Sure.
Like that is a big part of what I've also observed and seen, where it's like, you know, when the man who's going to be for me, and he's going to take me here, and he's going to get me this, and he's going to do, it's like, who, like, in my experiences, man, like if somebody really like fuck with you, like the romance is romance because it's extra, because you already cool with just them being in your space. And to me, like, romance is kind of bullshit to expect, because what makes romance romantic is that you don't expect it. Like, that's what makes it romantic. Like, if you expect some shit and then the person does it for you, now you're on a one-way trip to taking that shit for granted, because now it's no longer romantic, it's now an expectation. What?
I find it interesting for a woman to demand romance to be bullshit, but a man can demand sex.
No, absolutely not. A man can't demand sex?
They do. Is it bullshit when they do?
Yeah.
Okay. So both are bullshit. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure I understand.
And to clarify, I'm saying that romance is bullshit, not women demanding it being the bullshit.
So women demanding it is okay.
No, I mean, that's just a whole nother category of, I guess, bullshit. But what I was specifically saying, the idea of romance, to me, it comes off as bullshit because it's being turned into an expectation. But like the moment you turn something into an expectation, it now is not special. So it can't be romantic because, in my opinion, like romance is like, if we was dating and you would have walked in here and I would have had the whole, you know, how niggas be doing the whole fucking balloon shit.
Nah, I ain't never had that. I don't know what that's
You know
like.
how we seen niggas on the socials.
Yeah, I seen it.
We seen people, you know, they walk into the room and the whole room is candles and rose petals and balloons and yada, 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 right? What makes that moment romantic
is that it was unexpected.
Is because it was unexpected. It's not romantic if you be like, hey, yo, when I come over, my nigga, put them rose petals on the floor. Nigga, light some candles. Nigga, put some balloons up. Nigga, have some a candlelit dinner ready. And then you walk in and I have all of the shit. Now, it's a nice gesture, but it's not special. It's not really romantic because it's like, And on top of that, nigga, you expected for me to do that. So to me, it kind of like defeats. I don't know. It's like almost like oxymoron almost.
I look at this differently because I still think the word demanding is what I'm stuck on.
Okay.
It is a very strong word. It is to demand something is very entitled.
Yes.
It's very audacious.
Yes.
I am going to use my biased brain and say I can't relate to that.
It's like if a woman or if a person says like, my partner being romantic is like a deal breaker. That's a demand to me.
I disagree with that because
that's like saying you got to be this or I'm not.
Is a demand bad in your thoughts?
Let
me tell you why I'm asking that question. You would not date a woman.
Nope.
which means so for everybody listening, he broke down in laughter. And I do this specifically for my friend Jackson.
So wouldn't.
Because I like to play devil's advocate. It is one of my favorite role playing opportunities. So, as women say, my man has to be romantic, and that be a demand. From Jackson's angle, she has to give head. She has to. She has to give head.
Nastily.
And nastily. And if she doesn't, there's nothing this man can do with that woman long term. Nothing. Matter of fact, it won't even be short term. Bitch, you ain't suck my dick tonight. You don't suck dick. You don't use your jaws. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere long term or short term. So I go back to our demands bad? Because, hear me out. Are they demands? Or are they things that you need to feel seen and to feel heard and to feel like your partner wants you by doing things for you that make you feel that way? Very similar to a love language. Head for you.
Your love language, though.
But it sounds funny. But I feel like specifically like right now, like as I date or whatever the hell I want to call it these days, and men are like, "What's your love language?" I could go with the
niggas be asking that.
Yeah. I could go with one of the 5 that like have been printed out. One of my additional love languages though is the sharing of music.
Okay.
Right? When a man sends me a song, 9 times out of 10, if it's not a new song, he's like, oh, she might like this. 9 times out of 10, it's a song that relates to how he feels about me. If it's a sexual song, it's going to be, I can see myself doing this to you. That is a love language for me. 1, turning me on to new music, but also 2, expressing how you feel about me through music, love language. Romance can be a love language because it says you think about me outside of the traditional Valentine's Day, Christmas, birthday, sweetest day. You've thought about me outside of those days and you've done things for me. And romance doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Writing a love note and leaving it on the refrigerator before you go to work, romance. For me, I need romance. Is it a demand? Will I ever state it as a demand? No. Is it something that will help me to feel desired by my partner and that will help me feel like my partner wants me and wants me to know how he feels about me and that he thinks about me and he knows that I like these things? Absolutely. It's a love language. It's a part of my list that says I desire these things in a partner. It's not a demand, it's a desire. You desire head. You desire a woman who wants to give you head regularly without asking, no prompts. She gives it in a way where you know she's doing it not really for you, but for her, because that's when it feels the best. That's a desire. That's not a demand.
But you know what? I think, okay, so maybe like the proclamation of it is the part, to me,
Ridiculous.
that makes it, yeah.
But I also wonder because I've had rare experiences with what I'm about to say, but I've had, for a person to state it up front, off rip, I think it's a little tactless. But I think if you're having a conversation around what are the things that you need in a partner,
That's fair.
right?
Yeah.
Or if you've been dating a person for a while, if I've been dating a person for a while and I haven't experienced the romance, I'm going to bring it up. And I'm going to say, I like these things. Now, because of who I am, do I bring it up in a statement? No. I generally will bring it up in a question. Do you deem yourself romantic? And generally they're going to say yes. And I'll say, okay. For me, that would be a clue in my brain. If a man said to me, are you romantic? I would say yes. That would be a clue for me to then be romantic, to then show romance to my partner. When I ask the question, are you romantic? Do you deem yourself romantic? It's stated to be a trigger. It's stated to flip the switch. I'm not going to demand it. I'm never going to demand it. I'm not a demanding person, not in that way. But it is a kind of like a signal of these things. Also, I do romantic things for myself. I buy myself flowers all the time, actually. Today was National Flower Day. March 21st. National Flower Day.
Cool.
Yeah. I buy myself things. I take myself out to dinner. I run baths for myself. I light candles while I'm showering in the dark. I'm romantic for myself. I romance myself. If I romance myself, I absolutely need my partner to be able to romance me. Don't let me out romance me. And I'm in a relationship. That's insane.
That's so crazy.
So by the time if I'm dealing with somebody and they haven't romanced me after so long, I'm 100% going to mention it. Because I'm out romancing myself and I'm with you. That's crazy.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the question. And I'm not opposed to allowing some time to pass before you think asking a question is appropriate.
You're talking about up front.
Yeah, like before we don't have no rapport, we don't have no history. You know what I'm saying? We still in the getting to know stage. And you don't even ask me the question and like you're genuinely interested.
You're demanding
if
it.
I'm like a romantic guy or not.
Sure.
You just coming out straight like, listen, if you think you're gonna be my nigga, you're gonna be doing this, and this.
But guess where that comes from?
From niggas not doing nothing.
Well, yes. But I'm saying the audacity to state it like that didn't come from nowhere. They came from media and the songs that say all the songs from the women that rap about telling niggas what to do and you should be getting this and make sure your nigga doing this and if he ain't doing this, it comes from their perspective. It's shaping the perspective. It's making it okay for women to approach men this way.
Yeah.
So unpopular opinion for women. Sorry, ladies. Somebody's gonna hate me for this.
Good.
And I'm okay with that. I think that when we approach men that way, it lessens our femininity. I think that when we demand or aggressively propose or push shit in a man's face, that is that masculine, that rah that men say that they don't like, that takes away from our softness. For a woman to require a man to do something for her in order for her to be in her softness is actually the opposite of being in your softness. It's actually the opposite of you living the soft life. Because the reality of it is, because that was good.
And we're back.
Hey guys.
Had to have a good old battery change there. Man, you was cooking though. You remember what you were saying about the
cooking with grease, boy.
soft the the demanding takes your softness away. Something
Yeah,
along
I
those
think
lines?
it does. I think that as a woman who wants to be in her softness, a woman who wants to sit in her soft era, to demand it does the opposite of that. I think the key for a woman who wants to be there is to find a man who naturally does that for her. To force a man to put you there, anytime you have to force, being forceful is not soft.
Right.
Being demanding is not soft. Being aggressive is not soft. The key is to find a partner, meet a partner that naturally allows and creates space for you to be soft. If your softness is waking up every day to breakfast, you date. And the moment you find a man that does that without an ask, that's the man you continue to push for. But to want breakfast from a man who doesn't eat breakfast.
Hey man, can we cut the shit, man? That being soft shit, that's a crack of shit, man.
Is it?
Some bitches, y'all, you just don't got it.
But I agree with that. I think that's fair.
A lot of y'all just don't got it.
Not a lot. Calm down.
A lot of y'all.
No.
A lot of y'all just don't got it.
Do you think I have it?
A lot of y'all, yeah.
Oh.
I do.
I was gonna say. I just think you were gonna say hell nah.
Nah. I mean, all jokes aside, yeah. I think you're very, we talked about that before.
Yeah.
There are many women who do possess that and it's genuine, but there are so many women who they trying to force that. They trying to force the softness onto themselves. That ain't really you.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that there's a category of women who, number one, have never been allowed to be that? And because they're not allowed to be that, or maybe they've just really lived a really tough life, or grew up like in a really tough space where they weren't able to, like, they always had to be on. They always had to be defensive. They never felt safe.
Yeah.
Is there a world where those women also have the ability, but they're so afraid, or they're really truly unable, and because they haven't had a person to come into their life to show them that it's okay to be their soft selves, that it's never been able to show up? Do you think that exists, that woman?
I don't really know if I don't think that's an exterior
Thing.
Yeah, that I don't think that has anything to, because if you ain't never been soft, if you've never had the space to be soft, if you haven't ever lived the life where you felt like you could relax, that's all shit that start with you. Like, somebody outside can't really rewire your brain to even feel like you have that space to exist. That's what I mean.
Okay. Okay. Devil's advocate. I'm about to say something that may trigger some people. I'm so sorry. I don't mean any harm by this.
Apologizing to these niggas.
No, because hear me out. Let's think about, I'm going to give you a woman.
Okay.
She was molested as a child.
Okay.
She then went to a foster home where she was then raped.
Okay. Jesus.
Okay. In being raped, she was trying to defend herself, killed her rapist.
Okay.
Ended up in jail for murder. Was in jail for a stint of time. Got out. Yearned for love. Thought she yearned for love. But she's never had the opportunity to ever be soft. Never. She got to the foster care and she thought she could have. But the father, right?
Got it.
That is a woman who never had the opportunity. So you're telling me, based on your previous statement. Now, again, this is extreme. I know that it's extreme. We know that it's extreme on purpose.
Very, very.
Right? But I'm trying to apply your overall logic to the overall population.
I got you.
Does that correlate?
Even with that though, that's not a job for a man to come in and be a positive example and say this is a soft landing space for you. That alone is not going to do it.
No. That's not somebody's job. I didn't say make it somebody's responsibility. I said a man who naturally does that. Not that you force it on him. He tries to.
But what I'm saying is that solution will not be feasible with the man being the only part of that equation. Like, that's going to take a lot of personal work.
Absolutely.
From the woman herself.
Absolutely.
Like, just a man coming in and being a great guy and being a soft landing space and being everything that, I guess you would imagine a safe space of a man could or would be, that alone still not going to do it for somebody who's been through so much.
So I think
that's why I say, like, it start with you. You got to go seek whatever help or repair of yourself that is needed. That's a you job.
I think I'm struggling with it starts with you, because it started with the trauma.
I'm talking about being, because the original question was, do you think a woman who has gone through such things, is she capable? Does she have the ability to become soft?
So you're saying that. So that's not my question. My question was not, does she have the ability to become soft?
Okay.
My question is, do you think that the softness was in her, but she was never able to show it? I'm not talking about a person who has to then become soft and recreate themselves as this soft being. I'm saying, do you believe that there is a category of women who may be soft, but they were never able to expose their softness because of their circumstances?
See, I think your default is your default. And what I mean by that is, like, how you just rephrased it or just re-explained it to me. You're explaining it as if was that lady soft, like, basically from the rip, and then she just got taken advantage of by the people in her life. Like, I think the mask, it's almost like, is Bruce Wayne the mask or is Batman the mask? And I think once you decide who's at the actual mask for real, then the question becomes a lot easier to answer. Because to me, like, if you really a soft, feminine girl, woman, whatever, even if you've been through all of that bullshit that you just named, the mask would be the hard shell.
Sure.
But you will always find a space to be yourself. I think. Unless your true self is the hard shell.
Yes.
And you're trying to figure out a way to then become soft.
But for the woman that I just described, she would have only ever seen softness as a baby.
Right.
Right.
So maybe that's not her default.
To say that protecting yourself is a default is crazy.
No. It's not. It's a difference between protecting yourself and having a crazy hard shell and just being. It's because, I mean, I know you might not be able to say this because you part of the sisterhood and all that. I understand that, but it's women out here.
I agree with this.
Who just hard as fuck.
I agree with that, and I will never. I just told the women demanding shit is not soft. I just said that.
And just to combat your super extreme example, just to kind of set the stage, honestly, I think a more realistic example is.
I love my unrealistic examples.
I'm not saying I don't love it, but I also want to put it in real life terms. Sure. Real life example is a woman who was raised by another woman, maybe a single mom. So she saw her mom do all of the work, work a couple of jobs, bust her ass. Maybe she saw her mom, date, different men. and she just picked up on how to deal with men, and whether or not the men were positive or negative examples. There's always some sort of, the people who are closest to you always kind of get that, not residual, but kind of get like the debris in energy form of, you might just walk past your mom's room and maybe you seen her crying because of the man, or maybe you seen her talk on the phone with her friends and talking bad about the man, or saying she might try to shield you from that rhetoric or from that narrative, but if you live in a house with somebody or around somebody long enough, maybe you just might pick up on certain things. Where maybe now that the overall vibe, even though it's not blatant, the overall vibe comes back down to that narrative like these niggas really not shit or whatever. So now maybe the teachings as you get older, as a young girl going into middle school, high school, college, maybe the teachings are now to shield your, like, niggas is the boogeyman, basically. And every step of the way on your journey to being a successful woman, being coached and tutored by your mom is all based off of merit-based things and things that are based upon being successful in spite of the presence of a man, or doing everything because you can't rely on a man, or because basically you're doing everything to segregate yourself from men, basically. That is a realistic example of how you are really being coached into being hard is just your default. Like there's not really much room for how to even be soft when you're dealing with the opposite sex. Because a person who has been raised or reared or coached up like that, what do you do when you actually do meet a man who's not like the narrative? How do you even act around this nigga that you got butterflies for? How do you even show him that you like him without having sex with him? Because maybe because of the media, you think that that's the only way to show your love for a nigga. How do you do that? Now you 25 and you don't have no fucking clue on how to just fucking relax around a nigga.
I wonder though if you're using the word default for my defense mechanism. And the reality of it is those words are not the same.
They're not.
But I have a hard time with the word default because I feel like with what you're saying, default to me says this is your baseline, but baseline is in you, not on you, right? Mm-hmm. Which then means that you're born that way. Which means that even as a child, as a baby, you didn't receive love. Mm-hmm. As a child, you weren't able to cry and need and depend on. I think that's why I'm having such a hard time with the word default versus
that'd be people's reality though. And maybe if I changed it, I'm sorry to cut you off, but maybe if I changed it from default to being like some women were raised on love and some women were raised off survival.
Raised versus being born that way. Those are two different things.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying if we change it, because to me, like, I'm not saying when I say default, I don't necessarily mean from birth.
You're talking about how you were raised.
Yeah, because like it's like how you were cultivated. Like, because I think you cultivate your personality. You cultivate like how you are socially. What?
Based on what?
This nigga. Yeah, your experiences. I've never disagreed with you, and I would say like when I'm saying like default, I'm kind of giving it like maybe like a good 10-year window, like maybe from birth until 10, because you do have to you have to kind of like, it's founded on something. It's founded on how you were raised and your family dynamic and how you was brought up and where did you live and where did you go to school and was it dangerous? And again, like, was you raised off of love, out of love, or was you raised off of like always in survival mode type shit? You know what I'm saying? And like, just I see a lot of people who were raised on some survival mode shit, and it's easy to tell.
And I think I don't disagree with you. Yes, I think that there are a lot of women specifically who were raised off of survival. Did you watch Raising Kanan?
The new, yeah.
Could you imagine his mother with a daughter? Right? Mm-hmm. Being raised by her as a mother. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the example of what you're talking about.
Right.
Right.
And she's not soft.
She's not soft. She's the opposite, actually. Yeah. Hard as fuck. Harder than most niggas.
Yeah.
I do, as a woman, and I'm biased because I'm not this. So like, let's keep that in mind. But I do see a world where there could be a woman that was raised like that, and then she meet a person or people. It could start from friendships that shows her that you don't have to always be on here. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be that. Mm-hmm. I think it will take a couple of relationships, not romantic. But I do think that those people who were raised that way, who were raised to be hard, I think there might be a small percentage of those people that, if allowed to be introduced to what it's like to not always be tough.
That's the only place you throw me off. Allowed to. Because that it's putting the onus on not you.
It's both. It's both parties. Okay, so I'll say for men, right? I've not really dated. I talked to a number of men who tell me that the safe space that I create for them allow them to be open. It allows them to comfortably share their thoughts because they don't feel judged. They don't feel like I will use what they say to me against them. Mm-hmm. That allows them to be free enough to openly converse with me.
Yes, I'm sure that niggas do say that. I'm the wrong nigga to. This is
Yes,
where I'm devil's advocate with this.
Sure.
Because although that they may think that is true, I'm a believer in that you create your safe space first, right? Like, no matter how safe you may be, if I am not centered enough to even be comfortable with being vulnerable, I'm not going to share. You know what I'm saying? So it really, even though they felt that they were allowed to tell you certain things, it really started with them, though. It has to be something in you to be like, you know what,
wants to allow that.
I'm gonna speak up. But I'm just saying, like, the mentality though, like the mentality of, in order for me to do something, somebody else has to allow me to do it. That don't compute with me. And because it's not you have to allow it. You have to receive it. You have to.
What?
Whatever it is that I'm sharing. Whatever
it starting with you, or is it starting with the person you're receiving it from?
Yeah, it starts with the person who has the thing to say. Like if you are the quote unquote safe space, and I'm the example of like the men that you're talking about, where I'm saying like, oh well, you know, man, I feel, you know, you have a safe space, and I don't feel like you're gonna be judging me or hold this against me, right? It's not saying that you're not a safe space, but what I'm saying is they're explaining it like they're sharing because you're the safe space. I'm saying them sharing with anybody is them creating their own safe space and their own confidence into just being vulnerable. Like, it don't matter who's in front of you. It shouldn't. It shouldn't matter. My level of vulnerability, I should 100% own that. And when I decide to be it and who I decide to be it with, that is a 100% me thing. How you receive it, that's a 100% you thing. But how you receive it after I have shared it now will kind of allow me to be more confident to share more with you, or allow me to make the decision to, you know, that's probably not the best person to share it with. But I just personally, I can't get with the idea of, man, if it wasn't for you, I would have never opened up. Because the opening up is all on me.
Yeah, we're going to have to agree to disagree on this, because me personally, we stand on opposite sides of this. Me personally, I have a really hard time opening up to people who don't feel safe. So it's up to me to do the opening, but the other person has to feel safe. I've talked to you about a lot of shit. It wasn't because I was like, let me drop this on him and see what he do with it. Mm-hmm. No, it was because we'd had previous conversations around lighter shit, and I felt like Jackson is a safe space for me. Now I can let him in on things. I had to do.
But wouldn't it be crazy for me to take credit for that though?
It's not about credit. It's not about the person who's the safe space saying, "Oh, I'm the safe space." It's not that. It's not about that. It's about whoever is doing the emoting feeling like the person has opened the space. And it's the idea of like, I have to first be able to trust you. Mm-hmm. But in order for me to trust you, there are things and signs that you give in order for me to be able to trust you. Once I trust you, then I share. I don't share first in hopes that I can trust. Mm-hmm. We create the trust and then I share.
Yeah, see, we do. I do the opposite of that.
So you share.
I just share and be like, if you can fuck with it, then we good.
That's not.
And
I can guarantee you that is not how the majority of people work.
No, I mean, that's why I said That's why I said at first, like I'm the wrong nigga for this, because like I just do that with the 8 Mile mentality of like, I'm gonna just give you all my shit, and then we go from there, because I've owned it already.
Sure.
To where it's like, if you don't fuck with it, like, that's cool. It's not gonna destroy me.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But if you do fuck with it and we can still rock, then it's like, oh shit, like now I know that, you know what I'm saying, you solid on that particular level. But I know that's what I said. I know most people are like, I don't know, are they cool? Can I, Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to buy into that part, because it's like, my nigga, you either vulnerable or you not. That's why I said you kind of either you soft or you not. I mean, but it's all about how you look at it, like, because you got to own that shit first, I think.
But why is it an or? Because I am a vulnerable person, but I don't know that I can be my vulnerable self fully with a person until I feel that they're safe. I am vulnerable. You know me, I be crying all the fucking time.
But like, what's the
I stay crying.
What's the opposite of safe in this context? Like, what would be unsafe? Like, what would you open up to somebody, you being vulnerable with somebody because you think that they're safe, but then they do X, and then that makes you think that, oh shit, they're unsafe. Like, what is it that they would do?
My last situation, I thought he was safe. And then he started not listening to me. He started cutting me off when I spoke. He started essentially throwing shit in my face that I'd said in the past.
Okay.
He started demeaning me. That's unsafe.
Okay.
Right? So, the reason I thought he was safe is because he started out really trying to understand the things that the things that I had to share. He was really listening to me, right? And creating a space for me to talk freely. And then when I would talk, he would ask questions. Tell me more about this. Or, that's interesting. How did that start? But like he would begin to dig in a way that made me feel like he wanted to see and understand what was going on. And then I got comfortable then sharing that space, and then it flipped. And then it was like, it was the cutting me off. And I'm a person because, again, as vulnerable as I am as a person, when I feel like it's an unsafe space, I shut down. I actually shut off. And so he would cut me off, and then I have no more words. Right? And so it's like, we got to a point where I did feel safe. So then I was my vulnerable self there, right? I felt good to be vulnerable there. But when I started to feel like he didn't see me anymore, he wasn't trying to hear me, then I shut off. Then that's the fact that defense mechanism is coming back in. That, not really hard, because I don't know that I'm really like a tough person, but like that protective shield of, I'ma just shut down because I like my words, I'm not desired in this space at this moment. So then I shut off.
I got you.
So it's like, I hear what you're saying, but I think both pieces have to exist. You have to desire, you have to want to be vulnerable. But then there does have to be a person that then allows you the space to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because, and you and I said that, we said the same thing differently. Because if you throw shit at people, this my shit.
Right.
But if you throw that shit at them and they put their hands up and they like, nah.
Right.
That's not they're not creating a space for then you to dump and for you to give them that. That's not a safe space for you. Both pieces have to exist. You have to want it and they have to want it. You have to want to give it. They have to want to allow it and want to receive it. And so I think we're on opposite ends of this. You toss your shit and be like, it's just who I am. Deal with it or don't. I'm more of I'm not sure if this person will accept me if I gave them all of my shit. And that makes me uncomfortable because I come from a space where, in a world where I'm too much. Specifically in my emotional space, I'm super fucking emotional. So a lot of mine is, I can't show this person all of my emotions because I might immediately push them away. And I don't want to push them away. I want this person to be close. And so I feel like I start having to feel like I have to divvy out, give a little bit of my emotions at a time because I'm not sure they can handle all of them. And I don't want them to run away from me. But then we get to a point where something happens and then I can't help but to be emotional. And then they allow me to then see, by circumstance, can they handle the emotion or not?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does. We are, we just on different ends of that. It's like you kind of play more defense and I'm kind of more offense with the whole thing.
And it's so real quick. It's very funny because some men will take my defense as me not being soft.
What do you mean? Like,
because I just won't immediately open up.
Oh, okay.
So now,
like you have a hard shell. I got you.
And I can't say that I have a hard shell. I just don't trust you yet to be able to open myself up that way. But to some men who have simply decided that either you let me into your life immediately, right away, right now, or you're a hard bitch, or you're not sitting in your femininity because you won't let me in immediately.
I mean, I'm not diminishing that. That's
I don't know, because that sounded like it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I just don't know if that's what. I never thought that that's what was like one of the differentiating factors of like whether a woman is like hard or soft or not.
But it is. From a woman who's been accused of being that, it is.
I mean, I think that's unfair. when I'm thinking of like whether you're soft or hard, I'm just thinking of like more so just like every day. Just how are you? Like how do you act? How do you?
So in my situation, people don't allow the everyday to everyday.
Huh? What?
I have been called hard and you one of them overly independent women, and I've been called all of that before a week's passed. That's what I mean by not allowing the everyday to everyday. Like we don't get to everyday
I got you.
before they're already passing judgment on.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't ready for it, man. You know what I'm saying? You not ready to be soft. You're not ready to be, all because within 4 days.
Is this with the in-person interaction, or is this like just through like messaging, text?
Just the messaging.
Oh, okay.
They don't let the everyday.
I got you.
They don't let time pass. It's so funny because you slow walk. We all know that about Jackson. Dear friend Jackson, the slowest of the walk. Slower than the moonwalk slow.
That's
Okay.
hilarious, man.
I used to think I didn't slow walk, and I don't know that I slow walk per se, but being rushed is scary.
Yeah.
To me, when a man tries to rush me into something, which ironically it has happened a lot to me over the last few years.
It's like you trying to get me to sign a bad contract.
Yeah, it's like, what are your ulterior motives here?
It's like, this contract bad. Like, like in the I don't know if it's cartoons or just shows, but like when somebody about to sign something and everybody else in the room just like,
it's a cartoon.
It's
like, you don't want to give me time to read the fine print. What are you hiding?
Right.
What are you hiding?
Right.
That's terrifying to me. And so within a matter of days, because I haven't given or I haven't been like, yeah, I'm all in, niggas be like, this is what I'm talking about. You hard ass woman, you don't know what you want. You say you want this and but you ain't ready for this and it's like,
that's manipulation.
Water, buddy. It's been 72 hours. It's been 72 hours and I'm not in my soft era. Or I think I want that, but I'm not really ready for that because I'm not ready to dive in with a stranger.
Yeah. Nah, see, when my barometer of like if a woman is kind of like soft or not, it's more so like how she is around you, like in just with her like demeanor. That's kind of what I go off of. I mean, I know I guess everybody will go off of different things, but personally, I go off of demeanor. I go off of like, are you? I don't know if this is the right word, but like if you're like dainty, if you're girly. Or if you like hard and you stomping and shit everywhere. Like I can't stand a stomping ass bitch.
Why are you working so hard?
I can't stand a stomping bitch.
Damn. Are these Timberlands or like what's going on?
You know what I mean? Like I pay attention to like little stuff
Black
like
Air Force One energy.
like women who rush to the door or they kind of slow down and like allow you to get the door.
That's practiced. I had to practice. I think I told you about
that.
Yeah,
we talked about
I had to practice that, baby.
Yeah.
And so just super, not really sidebar. It's in line with this. Some of this goes back to not having somebody to do it for you. Mm-hmm. Being a woman, I open my own door every day. I ain't got no nigga. So like when I am in the presence of a guy though, sometimes it slips my mind to like, I've really had to practice because so it also gets kind of awkward. Hear me out, right?
Okay. I have a rebuttal, but go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Actually, let me start with a question. And I want a very simple answer.
Okay.
When you're walking with a woman, do you allow her to walk in front of you or behind you?
What are we doing?
You're leaving out of a restaurant. You got up from the table. You're getting ready to leave. Is she in front of you or behind you?
That's tough because I've done both. I'm going to say though, in front of me.
Okay, let's stop there.
Okay.
It's difficult, not really difficult, but like it takes some, you got to really be in here. I'm walking in front of you, let's just say.
Mm-hmm. And all you see is door. And you just, go go out of it.
Naturally.
I got you.
It takes thought. It takes thought to slow down, and it's a bit awkward to slow down, step to the side, to then allow you in front of me to open the door. It's much easier if, and I've actually found this to be not so regular. If I'm behind you, you are holding me by the hand to lead me out the door. That's much easier than me being in front of you. And I got to pivot for you to come around and open the door.
See, my thought process on it is